sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday morning. It is 10:07 on October 4th, and you're joining ASAP in the morning. I got Ray here with me. Ray, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad the storm went out of the way. I'm glad, still the prayers go out to the victims of the hurricane down in South Florida. They had some big washouts. They got roads washed out. People can't get to their houses on the island. So I just got finished cutting out my tree last week, and I was kind of sick on yesterday. So I'm glad to be back here today.
Glad to have you back here this morning. We're also joined by Pride. Good morning, Pride. Welcome back.
What's up, my guys? How y'all feeling today?
Doing good. How you doing?
Tired as shit. I cursed already. No.
We've made it. Including pre-shows, we are 4.5 minutes in. Pride's already dropped one swear word. Yeah,
I'd love to see it. Jeez.
We're on par today. We're on par.
At least Mike's not here.
Mike, hopefully Mike's gonna be joining us tomorrow. I know he's got school, so shout out to Mike Hughes. No, he's got school. He's got to take care of that. But good morning, everyone. Whether we are live this morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. So definitely, hey, look, it looks like Chris Gonzalez there on the avatar for Pride this morning. They did an old switcheroo. But no matter where you're watching this morning, leave us a like here, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch. Leave a comment as well. We like to interact with everybody, and we like to kind of help use that to push forward the show. We like to hear your takes. We'll talk about those throughout the day. But definitely, if you like the content you see, whether it's here or on any of the other great shows we have here on All Sports All Plays Network, leave a like, share, comment. You can follow us on all these social media outlets you see on your screen. On YouTube, ASAP Sports Network. On Facebook, at All Sports All Plays. On Twitter, at ASAP Network 1. And on Twitch, at ASAP Network. We got a lot of great stuff here today to talk about. And the first thing that we've got to discuss, last night's, dare I say ass whooping that happened last night. The Rams go down at San Francisco 24-9. Niners take it at home. And I don't know how much, I know watching that game last night, it did not look to me like much of a game. The 49ers were in complete control throughout a majority of the game. And Garoppolo didn't do a ton, but he did enough and got the ball out of his hand early, got playmakers like Deebo Samuel the ball early and just let him go make plays. But the combination of the 49ers did enough on offense and just let their playmakers make plays. And defensively, they had the Rams locked up. Stafford got sacked 7 times last night. It seemed like every time they snapped on a third down, Stafford was getting sacked because he had no time and his receivers had no separation. Cooper Kupp had a career game. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts, like what – and I know we're coming out of this game, we're still early in the season. How concerned are you for the LA Rams through 4 games this year?
I'm panicking. I'm scared. DEFCON red. I'm talking about we need to get a team meeting, and Aaron Donald, get whatever's off your chest. Okay, you're done. Bobby, I get it. You just got here. You speak your – it's getting ridiculous Because I don't know, like on the edge of the sideline, I think it was either a linebacker that they either just signed or just came off the practice squad, bucked up to Aaron Donald. Like usually no one bucks up to Aaron Donald. It's usually Aaron Donald doing it, and it's not him trying to punk anyone. It's just him saying, we got to step up, let's get it together, all that stuff. But they got destroyed by the Bills, who everyone thinks week one, everyone was like, this could be a potential Super Bowl matchup we're seeing. That could have been the potential, right? They get destroyed there, okay? Then they almost lose to the Falcons. They almost sold the game. They almost gave that up. If they came and did their thing, that's fine. But like they almost lost to the Falcons. They beat the Cardinals, a Cardinals team who for like all 4 weeks are out at sea with no map, and they're kind of just drifting until D-Hop comes back. And then it took luck, a couple blown calls, and then the planets aligning for them to barely squeak out a win. And now they just lost to the 49ers in a 24-9 on paper. It doesn't seem bad. Watch the game. It should have been way worse. It should have been way worse. For some reason, it felt like the Niners were like, yeah, let's be nice. So I'm concerned. I really am, because are they going to finish under 500? No. But this type in 4 games, this type of weird momentum they're rocking with, this isn't something you can build off like long term. You know? Like, for example, a few years back, it was the Buccaneers that were kind of weird, right? Then they ended up having they were on their bye week. They all had a conversation, a real life conversation with themselves, and then they managed to go undefeated for the rest of the season and go through the playoffs. I don't see that coming from the Rams, because it sounds weird to say, but there's nothing the Rams can do now. You have who you have. There's no moves you can make. You need to make sure that, and by the way, before anyone tells me Van Jefferson was out, heck of a talent Van Jefferson is. Don't get it twisted. I don't want anyone thinking I'm poo-pooing on Van Jefferson. I like the kid. I have him on my fantasy. But you still got Allen Robinson, who for some reason they're ignoring. It's weird. Outside of that one game he had, I think it was week 2 or week 3, that he looked like he was getting targets. Outside of that, what I'm calling so far an anomaly game, they've been ignoring him for the most part. Cam Akers, I don't know what's going on with him, because honestly, I don't even think it's health anymore. I just think him mentally, he doesn't feel good anymore. That's kind of the weird thing. So I'm very concerned, because it just seems like a lot of this stuff is mental. And I don't know, man. I'm not liking it. Thank God I'm not a Rams fan.
Yeah, it's definitely was a tough game to watch last night if you are a Rams fan. Real quick, Ray, I do want to get your point, but I wanted to bring in, we're joined by Rob Scott this morning.
Is that Robert?
What's up, guys?
brother?
Hey,
What's
morning.
happening?
What a Rob?
You are joining at the perfect time, because we are talking the Monday Night Football game, and the question that was posed is, how concerned are you about the LA Rams through 4 games this season?
I'm concerned. First of all, Cam Akers messed up my fantasy squad last night and my bet on FanDuel.
He's been doing it all year already.
I just needed the man to score a touchdown, but it's bad. And I want to bring up a point that I think nobody has brought up yet, because I feel like a lot of people like Skip Baylesses of the world, they attacked Odell Beckham Jr. And you starting to realize this team misses Odell because of the pressure it took off of Cooper Kupp. Because I just don't think Allen Robinson was that guy. I got to see Allen Robinson up close being a Bears fan, and he's just not that guy. So I think that they missing Odell. Cooper still got his, but They're not able to score. And I want to be honest, Matthew Stafford is not looking good. He's not looking good. It's just, hey, if you're gonna get out there and play, you gotta take the critique.
Yeah, you're right. You got it.
And he's not looking good at all, guys. Right now, the Rams do not look like they're gonna make it back to the Super Bowl. Just my opinion.
Yeah, Ray, what are your thoughts through the first 4 games?
Well, if you look at what they're doing here, teams are not getting scared of the wide receiver core because they're loading up, they blitzing, they bringing the pressure on them. And every time you get Matthew Stafford, even though he's got an elbow issue, he's just getting hit. His offensive line is not blocking. Mm-hmm. That's just the key because they're not picking up the blitz. The one play they blitz up the middle, the 2 guards supposed to kick in, they kicked out and let the blitzer come free. So when the blitzer comes free in the middle, it's no time for Matthew Stafford to roll out or anything like that. He's getting pressured. And another thing is, too, Jalen Ramsey is getting burnt too many times. He's supposed to be a shutdown. He's supposed to be a shutdown corner. He's getting burnt too many times. And Deebo Samuels burned him like it wasn't nothing. And you know how big Deebo Sanders is. You know, that dude just ran by him like he was just flat-footed. 3 or 4 times they got the big time. But if you look at this game, too, if you look at the stats, I always look at the time of possession. The Rams had more time of possession than the 49ers in this ballgame, about 8 more minutes. Yeah. And they flat out lost because they letting the deep plays go. And they letting Garoppolo burn them. And then, you know, everybody's like, what happened to Jimmy G? Jimmy G, he's looking good right now. I mean, even though he didn't start the season, Trey Lance, you know, hope he gets better and all that. But, I mean, Jimmy G just bided his time. They didn't trade him. He came in. He was prepared. And, I mean, dude, he flat out beat the Rams, man. You know, you can't have Jimmy G beating the Rams. And what happens to teams when they win Super Bowls? They always come back the next year, and some of these teams are lackluster. You know, they already won it. They're not motivated again. And that seemed like what the Rams is right now. They're not motivated.
You know what? Watching this game last night, and then if you go through, and I had a feeling, and I looked at the stat sheet, and it backs up my thought. You know what this Rams team reminded me of last night?
Let me hear it.
It reminded me of the Stafford and Calvin Johnson Lions. Because all Stafford had was one receiver to throw to, Calvin Johnson. They never ran the football. Henderson had 27 yards. Akers had 8 carries for 13. They only did what, 18 carries the entire game through four running backs or through 4 ball carriers. They didn't run the ball. They had no offensive line to protect Stafford, meaning he had to make errant throws. And that's how the Lions had their MO, is they would pad the stat sheet because they had to play from behind, which is what the Rams did. But they reminded me a lot of the Lions that we were accustomed to with Stafford there. And when he had Calvin Johnson, he literally had one person to throw to, and they never ran the football.
And back your point right quick. Stafford was sacked 7 times for 54 yards. They only outrushed their sack yards by 3 yards.
I mean, I'm changing his name from Cam Akers to Cam Patch of Land because that's all he got in yardage.
I mean, and the thing is like, this is the part that's confusing to me. Even without Odell, they still have a solid wide receiving core. That's the part to me that really blows my mind. It's not like you got bums, right? It's not like you got Cooper Kupp and then me as your number 2. No. It's not like if you take Cooper Kupp out, you got the Green Bay Packers wide receiving core. It's not that. But for some reason, dog, like, it's like, oh yeah. It's like, remember last year when Burrow was like, F it, chases down there somewhere? That's basically Matthew Stafford within the 5 yard, like 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. F it, Cooper Kupp's over on the sideline somewhere. And then he just flings it. And then you got Allen Robinson. And Rob, I know we were saying that you don't really believe in Allen Robinson. This is what I've been saying from the jump. He's not a number 1. But if you put him as a number 2, he will eat. And is he starving right now? Yes, but that's because they're not giving him a plate. You can't blame Allen Robinson because when they go to, like I said, I think it was someone check me. I think it was either last week or the week before. He had a solid game. And everyone was like, this is the Allen Robinson that, we expect. He had one game that he actually had more than 5 targets.
But I'm used to that too, though, because
here's my question,
Chicago,
though, Pride.
He had inconsistent games.
So here's my question, guys. You're talking about if he's not the number 1, number 2. Allen Robinson had 6 targets last night, the 3rd most on the team, but he had 2 catches.
But okay, so you said he's got 6 targets. You said 3rd most on the team. Put it in context when the other guys are getting double-digit targets.
Right, and that's I'm just kind of noting this game that you were talking about. He had a receiving touchdown last week against the Falcons, but he only had 53 yards on 4 catches. So his season high is only 4 catches. But if you put him, I see that you put him in the opportunity, he could go out and make plays. He's not the same Allen Robinson that played in Jacksonville.
Right, which is why you're not going to put him at the number 1. So that's why you're not putting him at that number 1 spot. He's not the same dude. And to be fair to Rod's point, I don't think he's ever been a number 1. I just thought he was a number 1 in Jacksonville just because of circumstances.
By default.
Yeah, that's just where I really thought. That's just what I thought it was. I thought he was a solid receiver. I thought he could fill the number 2 role, but the problem is he's not getting targeted. So it's like he's running the routes. Yeah. There's a few games where like the commentators are like, Allen Robinson is wide open. This dude can run back to Chicago. That's how wide open this dude is. And he's like, and again, it's a point that you all brought up. Maybe it is the offensive line. And maybe it's just the fact that because this offensive line can't buy him more than 3 seconds, instead of him being able to properly analyze, maybe he's reverting back to I'm getting my snap and I'm immediately looking at my receiver. Back then it was Megatron. Now it's Cooper Kupp. And he's just immediately looking at him because he's like, I'm going to have to throw it quick, fast, and in a hurry. And after the year I just had with Cooper Kupp, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to look for him, which, and again, it now comes back full circle. There's nothing they can do. They went all in last year.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of cap, they're screwed. So it's
but they cashed in on it last year. So, I mean, they did what they wanted to do.
Don't get it twisted. They did, but the problem is like, so there's always those teams that go all in for 1 year. And after that, they understand we're not good anymore. We were a one-hit wonder. Now let's start breaking things apart. The Rams aren't thinking that. They think, oh yeah, we can. You heard I think it was Aaron Donald at the end of the Super Bowl. We're here to make a dynasty.
I mean, Aaron Donald didn't know if he wanted to come back.
Yeah, no. Wait, he can't. No, it wasn't after Super Bowl. I'm sorry. It was after Sean McVay said he was going to stay.
Yeah.
It was after Sean McVay said he was going to stay. Then Aaron Donald was like, all right, bet I'm going to stay too. And he was like, we go form a dynasty. I'm like, spam laws in the chat. Holla at me now, boy. You still a dynasty? You still a dynasty? Like,
but look, I know we talking about the Rams, but I want to give a shout out to what the 49ers did right. And I have to say, I'm not saying that Trey Lance can't be better than Garoppolo, and I'm not saying that Jimmy G is the end all be all when it comes to quarterbacks, but it's just certain guys who can bring the best out of men. And I have to say, Jimmy G does that for the 49ers. I immediately saw the difference when he got entered into that game. What was that, last week or week before last? When Trey Lance went down.
Yeah.
When he got entered into the game, the 49ers looked different. They looked revitalized. And now you're starting to see the reemergence of Debo. I mean, that run he had last night was just amazing. And we got to talk about that defense of the 49ers. That defense, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, they are animals on that side of the ball. And they made sure Matthew Stafford felt them last night. They made sure.
And someone checked me, like, even though there were some times they didn't sack him, I think I said Aaron Rodgers. Lols. That's how traumatized he had me on Sunday, bro. I said Aaron Rodgers. But Matthew Stafford, he got hit. I think it was like when they showed up like 12 times or something like that. Like 12 times. And it was in the third quarter that they were talking about it. And he got hit a few more. So I think he probably got hit by like maybe 15, 16 times. Those are the hits, not including the sacks. Like that's that's the number of times he got hit when you subtract the sacks away. And it's wild the fact that he's getting hit like that. And then
I mean, Fred Warner was in a hitting mood all night. We saw what he did to the fan on the sideline that decided to run on the field.
Oh yeah, run
Fred
up again.
Warner was just in hit mode.
And by the way, I want to touch on a point that Ray made. Because you said there was a lot of times that the blitzes that the line was letting it go through. The problem with this line, they can't stop you when you blitz. They can't stop you when you don't blitz either, because when they played the Bills only ran one blitz the whole game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only one blitz. They were going 3-man rushes, and this man still had no time. Like,
how badly are the Rams missing Andrew Whitworth?
So much.
They're missing him big time.
Through the roof. Yep. 110%. And
then talk about prize thing about the linebacker they just got. That was Bobby Warner. Bobby Warner went after Aaron Donald.
No, there's another one.
And another one after that?
Yeah.
Because I know Bobby Warner set Aaron Donald down because Aaron Donald was getting knocked off the ball. I mean, he was getting knocked off, and then Bobby talked to him. He started picking up a little bit, and then that's when the other linebacker you're talking about came up and started bitching him out about it and stuff like that. And
that was a guy they had just put on the active roster. At linebacker, and he went after. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the other linebackers. But
you know what? I'm about to look him up because that's my new favorite player. Imagine having that.
Bobby Wagner leveled the fan last night, and it was hilarious.
But see, and then if you look at it too, and you're talking about double digits, Huckabee, the tight end, he had 14 targets. He caught 10 of them. I mean, you had 2 receivers. He's only going to like 2 receivers, and these are the quick. And I think the two receivers they doing that was because he only had time to look at 2 people.
Yeah, he didn't have time to make reads. He didn't have any time to make reads.
Right. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why those 2 had double-digit targets probably was they were the number 1 on those plays. That's probably really what it was, and because they were the number 1, he looked because he's like, and even I got time.
Yeah, and even going back to the pick 6 that Stafford threw, I was around Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and people are throwing shade at Stafford for throwing the pick 6, and I'm like, what was he supposed to do? It was a screen. That was the play call. That was his first option. The DB just read it perfectly. Saw his receiver go to make a block. So, hey, I'm going to go jump this play, runs right in front of it and pick 6. Like, what's Stafford going to do in that scenario? There's no other read for that play.
But the problem is when Stafford went with that screen, he looked right at him instead of looking downfield quickly. And then when you set a screen up a quarterback, you don't look at the screen immediately. You look like you're going to throw the ball downfield. Stafford looked at the screen immediately, and that alerted the quarterback because he's if you read your tendencies, if you read the offensive line, they're gonna let the defensive line go through. Basically, that's what a screen is all about. They let them go through. And basically what happened was the corner read the tendencies of the offensive line, and he was in the perfect position because his receiver didn't go nowhere. His receiver didn't even block him. I mean, that's the problem. When you got to have a good wide receiver setting up a good block, an initial block on the screen. So, I mean, that's just a problem.
So what happened there was the wide receiver that was also alongside Kupp. His play was to go block Kupp's defender, and the guy that was over top of him is the guy playing back. But as soon as he saw the receiver go to block Kupp's defender, he's like, oh, this is a screen, and he went and jumped it. So there's nothing he could have done.
No.
To be honest, I feel like it's a situation where if you hate Matthew Stafford, you can blame him. Because to Ray's point, let's be honest, if you see Tom Brady with his screens, if it's not a halfback screen, he looks at the opposite side of the field to make it pretend like let's say it's a screen of Mike Evans. He'll look at Chris Godwin. He's like, "Hey, yo, Chris, burn him, fool!" Psych, and then he'll look the other way. So he does that. But to Craig's point, if you're a corner and you see the wide receiver kind of lining up for the block, I don't even have to look at Stafford. I don't even have to look at him because I'm like, oh, wait, you're going to block me? Oh, give me. He's like, it's a screen. It is what it is, you know? So, like, that's kind of like the awkward thing where, like, Stafford, I mean, And on top
Look,
of that,
I don't want to put
if
the
you're
Rams' problems on Stafford. I don't.
No,
But I
they're
do.
way
I
bigger than
do.
that.
I do want to say though that's been a problem of Stafford's for a long time. Even when he was in Detroit, he would stare at the receiver he's going to. Like everybody knew who he was going to. Like,
and part of that was is the fact that they only had most of the time one option.
Megatron.
They didn't have great receiving depth, so you only had everyone knew they're going to Megatron. So they'd triple team him, and he'd still chuck it up, and he'd still catch it. But they didn't have a run game, which is also something the Rams have failed to do this year, is run the ball effectively. And the Lions didn't have, and still don't, any defense.
Yeah.
So the fact that, he did look like Lion Stafford last night because they ran plays like, pick your coach from the last 10 years from the Lions of however they did their play call. That's what they look like. But so the one of the things that I want to kind of flip the script here and look at, Greg's right on point. We've been talking about this all morning. The Rams have terrible offensive line issues that they really need to address. Allen Robinson really not getting a ton open, but Pride's kind of already talked a little bit about that. But on the 49ers now.
Pride is the voice for the voiceless.
That's me. Call me. I'm a black CM Punk, bro, because I am the voice of the voiceless, and I will defend those when needed.
But Rob kind of touched on this a little bit with the 49ers and the difference that Jimmy G makes when he comes in. Not to say that he's a better quarterback, but the team has so much more confidence when Jimmy G is in the game compared to Trey Lance. Look at what they did last night. You have Raheem Mostert was the guy. He was the bell cow back for them. And then he leaves and goes to Miami. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Jeff Wilson comes out last night. He didn't have over 100 yards, but on his 18 carries, it looked like every time it was a one-cut play and he'd run up and he'd have a wide open hole cut back. It seemed like almost every time he ran the football, he had 5, 6, 7 yards. So the 49ers are getting back to that formula of tough defense, get to the quarterback, and on offense, run the ball. And Jimmy G did a great job of like Debo's long touchdown that he had. Jimmy G almost overthrew him. Debo had to go up and get it, but he brought it down. And that's the key for Jimmy G is get the ball out quickly, get it to your playmakers, and let them go to work. And that's exactly what they did with Debo last night.
Hey, that's a great point though, Craig, because he overthrew him. He did. And what Debo did, I mean, that's just the magic of Debo. I mean,
honestly, I don't even think it's magic. I just think Debo knows, all right, I'm gonna have like my 9 receptions, 4 of them are gonna be overthrown. So like he's ready, yo. Like, he got he got his hands glued up and everything. He's like, I'm ready, man. He's like, throw it.
But honestly though, to put yourself in harm's way, because when you jumping up for the ball like that, you are defenseless. It's nothing you can do to stop from what I like to call hurt city, you know. And for him to come down, and not only come down, but then to indeed go ahead and use his namesake and Debo these boys. Get off me. Get off me. I think he broke like 4 tackles. Then it was just amazing. I'm like, Debo is a monster, man.
Yeah. I was watching the game last night, and I had one of my Twitter people, one of my fans on Twitter said, "Yeah, Debo is running like the Rams stole his bicycle." that Rams stole his bicycle. I'm like, what the freak are you talking about? And then I looked up the screen, and that's when he made that catch and duked everybody out. He said, "Yeah, them 2 guys stole his bicycle." I'm like, what the freak?
And another thing too is like, and I'm gonna come out and say it. Trey Lance is dog water. Let's just call it what it is. When y'all ready to have that conversation, Craig, don't go.
I never said. Hey, I didn't say nothing.
No, but you did.
He's like trash with a capital T.
No. He don't deserve.
Maybe the trash is all caps with
no. He's so trash. He doesn't deserve it, bro. Okay, he's like a step above Jamarcus Russell because he tries. That's it. Okay, that's the only reason why he's above Jamarcus Russell. Listen,
come on, the man's hurt right now. Leave him alone.
No. But when he's not hurt, he's trash.
Exactly. Let's be honest. He's better off hurt because he's not on the field, and now Jimmy G can lead him to a dub. Because let's keep it a buck here. Let's have an honest conversation. If Trey Lance is in that game, do they win?
No.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Ray's the only honest man here.
Because I mean, Trey Lance can't throw the ball. That's the problem. He's a one-hit wonder. He can run with his legs. He can't throw the ball. Now, if you look at the other hand, Jalen Hurts was like that 2 years ago. Now look what Jalen Hurts is doing. Look what he's doing now. He's beating with the arms and the legs. So, I mean.
What happens when you go in that lab? You got to go in that lab and practice.
Without risking a can of worms here, Pride, you think him or Lamar Jackson for MVP?
Right now, Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it a buck. For me, Jalen Hurts is first. And 2, Josh Allen. Because let's pump the. Yes, Josh Allen.
Over Lamar?
Right now, as currently constructed, right now, yes. Don't feed me about, because Josh Allen had a bad game. Because you know who else had a bad game week 1? Your boy Lamar playing against the Jets. He had a bad game too. And y'all, he threw it at 50%. Y'all talking about MVP for him. Hang up the phone. You're not even calling no one. Don't do that. Don't play me like that. Don't play me like that, Rob. Please.
I was calling somebody to see where your mind went.
I can't stand you.
Line 1.
Don't do me like that.
All right.
But not right now. Right now.
No, I go with Jalen Hurts is number 1. And the only reason I say Jalen Hurts is number 1 right now is that interception that Lamar Jackson threw was very costly at the end of that game. And we saw this is the second time that their team has given up a big lead. And I'm not going to be the one to put everything on the defense. They didn't score anything after the second quarter. Like after the first half, they were stuck at 20 points. So I'm not going to put everything on that defense.
Right. And by the way, I wouldn't Patrick Mahomes is my third. He's my third. And I think for me, it's like it's very
Stop calling
close.
him Pat Mahomes. That is the magician.
Magician, don't matter. It don't matter. But I think Patrick Mahomes is definitely in that conversation. I just don't agree with everyone saying he's over Lamar. Stop it. He's over Lamar.
Too, man.
He's over Lamar. Come on, man.
When you go back-to-back games where you throwing over 200 yards and you rushing over 100 yards, I'm sorry. If we're talking MVP are looking at stats. I'm looking at what Lamar has done, and he's amazing right now.
Craig, it's weird, right? When I go by the stats, Rob says you got to go to the eye test. He yells at me for that, right? But then when I go, all right, let's do the eye test thing. Patrick Mahomes is over. He then goes to the stats. I can't win with that, man.
You can't win with him. You just can't. You can't.
I can't.
He does it on purpose, Pride. He knows to push your buttons.
And listen, in 2 weeks, Lamar will probably, and again, I hope Lamar plays well. I have him in fantasy. So I hope he plays well. I hope.
You got a great fantasy quarterback guy.
You know?
I got killed by Lamar last week.
You did good. I'm glad. But like in 2 weeks, it's because listen, I don't care what no one says. I don't think right now, currently, I don't think there's a single person running away with the MVP award.
No, not at all.
I think if you want to make an argument for Lamar, you can. Jalen Hurts, you can. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, I think you can make an argument for a lot of guys.
You can.
In like 4 weeks, it'll probably start getting to the nitty-gritty. But for me, if you want my front runner, Jalen Hurts. And I told everyone, Jalen Hurts going to be fine. Just like I told y'all Tua Tagovailoa would have been fine. And if that neurosurgeon ain't let him down, Tua would be in this MVP conversation. All right, let me stop. I'm going a little too far. I'm
gonna mix this up a little bit.
Ooh,
and just
mix
be
it
like,
up, Craig.
You know who's number 3 in passing yards and tied for first in passing touchdowns right now?
Who?
Jared Goff.
Oh, Jared.
I will say this. I know you're kidding. But
I'm not kidding about the stats, but I'm joking about the conversation.
But I do want to say this about Jared Goff. I told you he's not a bum.
I'm on that train too.
I said, look, he's not an elite guy. He's not he's not up there. But with Jared Goff, you can win games. Yeah, you can win games.
I'm still on the train. I understand they still want to look for a long-term quarterback, but the way the Lions are set up, the conversation was, do you take him or somebody like Malik Willis? I'm to stick with Goff because he's played, he's shown that he can do it. And I don't want to get down that whole conversation, but we got some great comments going on here in the chat on YouTube. So thank you guys for doing that.
Appreciate
that helps out a lot.
Yes, sir.
But
Vance said,
but you know what though? I will say this: the thing with quarterbacks, I think we get spoiled. We see the Tom Brady's of the world. We see the Aaron Rodgers, the Pat Mahomes, the Peyton Manning, and we expect every quarterback to be like that. And we kill them for not being like that. So we do have to. Prior to your point, Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not elite, but he's not bad. And I think sometimes that's just what you're gonna get. You're gonna get run of the mill quarterbacks,
which is fine. I mean, the Ravens won with Trent Dilfer, and then they won again with Joe Flacco. So average helps you. It's not bad. It's not bad. You know, if you have a solid situation in there and you give an average guy belief. I mean, look at the Jags right now. They're playing great. Right now, Trevor Lawrence he's in the average tier of quarterbacks. Obviously, he's young, so he can get better. But guess what? He's got faith in himself, you know, and everyone has faith in themselves. And now look at an average quarterback. Wait, y'all lead your division? Imagine saying that. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Yeah, look at that. He's like, let's go.
But hey, you gotta understand, being
like
down
Jacksonville
here
all over again.
I moved down here in 2010. I became a season ticket holder in 2011, and they have been awful all the way up to a point where in 2017 they made the playoffs, made it to the AFC Championship game. We knew how that
AFC Championship game. Who they lose to?
They lost to the Patriots.
We destroyed that franchise. That's
owned by
no,
the Patriots.
you didn't destroy us. Miles Jack was never down. He should have had that fumble. Should have returned it for a touchdown, which should have been called a touchdown, and that game should have been over.
So let me
but
guess.
they went with, but Blake, the referee Clayton said no, he was down, and they gave it to Tom Brady. So I mean, that's all that the mistakes and stuff. So Miles Jack was never down in 2017, point blank.
Jacksonville keeps the receipts.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know how I know for a fact Ray really believes that? He knows the ref who made the bad, in his mind, the bad play. He remembers his name. If you remember the name of the ref that did it, I don't care what sport it is. If you remember his name, you believe it. You believe it. That's insane. Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
But anyway, get back to the point is, you know, if you're looking at the front runner to MVP, right now it's too early. It's too early to name a front runner because we're going into 5th week now. Usually the front runner will come out in probably about week 9 to week 11. That's when you'll see the separation from all these quarterbacks and who's going to take it.
Nah, you're cheating. Who is it right now? You got to give me a name.
For me?
You have to give a name.
Well, right now I'm going with Jalen Hurts because of what he can do. I mean, he can pass the ball, run the ball. He's effective. I mean, dude, on 4th and 1, the Jaguars had him down 4th and 1. Guess what? He runs the ball and gets about 5 or 6 yards. You know, passing the ball. And really, at first looking at him, he's got that team. He's got that offense humming. He's got everybody humming in the right. He's hitting the right spots, the right calls right now. But right now, to me, Jalen Hurts is number 1. I have Mahomes at number 2, and then have Lamar and Allen neck to neck in number 3.
So is it fair to say, man, Craig, I'm here to lose my credibility. Is it fair to say that Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson?
Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah,
I just want to trigger him. I just want to trigger you. I just want to trigger you.
Come on, man. He got to win the MVP first or something.
But I mean, listen, let me ask you a legit question real quick. Let's say the Jalen Hurts ends up winning the MVP. Let's say that happens, right? He go like, y'all think that's going to make him complicit to stay? I feel like he's leaving Philly. Whether it's at the end of this contract or the next one, who knows? I'll be honest. Unpopular opinion, put Justin Fields on the Eagles. He does the same thing.
No.
I will say this. And this is coming. Listen, I love Justin Fields.
Is a great young player, though.
But I think you can make that argument to a lesser degree, though, because I do still think there's growing pains Justin Fields needs to go through. Jalen Hurts already went through the growing pains. Like, this is now the fruit of the labor, because he already went through the growing pains. I don't know if right now it's the exact same thing, but in terms of quarterbacks, they do have a similar style.
But Justin Fields don't know how to read defense.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he still needs to go through his growing
pains. That's the problem.
He needs the mental. He needs the mental. Jalen Hurts is catching
on. Call him stupid?
I'm not calling them stupid.
He's-
I'm
you
just
call
saying
him
when you're
stupid.
already in fear of your life because your offensive line sucks,
Nah, you're
you
right.
not being able to read the defense is not helping you out.
Go see our Matthew Stafford conversation. You right, you got it. You
I
got
say
the juice.
also
Matthew
when you're
Stafford.
dealing with a quarterback too, the quarterback needs to know the line protection. Also, if you look at Peyton Manning, sometimes Jeff Saturday didn't call the right play. He all into the offensive line to the right play. So if you don't have your offensive line set up and you don't have a center that can call out the protection like that, Justin Fields needs to learn how to call out the protection when he's making these changes too to make the offensive line where it knows where the blitz is coming from, who's the Mike linebacker. That's the problem he don't understand because sometimes he calls the Mike linebacker the blitzing linebacker, and that dude takes off and goes and covers somebody. So,
But
I mean, if you,
again, like I said, that's just growing pains. As
Yeah.
he goes and he learns and whatnot, he'll
Vance
be
is
fine.
crazy. That was funny.
But he said he can't because he has nothing to read.
He got nothing to read.
That was
Look,
funny.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest though, like let's be fair also to Justin Fields. Like I'm convinced they don't play defense for Chicago. I'm convinced they just go out there and go, look, he can't throw to anyone. What do you want to do? Do whatever you want. Like this is like this is like back in the day. Like you know how when we had recess, we would play football,
Yes,
and it was always
Lord.
that one kid every play would call. I call safety, and then it was just kind of like that's just what they're doing. Like in the huddle, they're not even calling a play. It's just like who got safety this time, and it's like I do. Okay, well you're defensive lineman. What are you doing?
Get off my team, Pride. Get
Yeah.
off my team. I mean,
Listen, bro,
right now, I feel like when they play Chicago, you can go in there, you can practice plays. It's
To be
like
honest.
you know what? Let's run the blue Scooby
Bro,
Doo 32. You know,
the
we never
Chiefs-
Hey,
tried that before.
Rob, don't worry. At this rate, Justin Fields will look like a Pro Bowler when they play the Lions twice this year. So you'll have some hope. Don't worry.
I'm ready for the hook and ladder to come back. That's what I'm ready for.
Yes.
The hook and ladder.
Bring it back.
You throw the wide receiver and the running back comes running back and you throw it back to him. That's why I'm waiting for Chicago to run.
They will run that on Chicago.
I think I think kind of when we talk about MVP, the front runner to me right now probably is Jalen Hurts, and it's kind of somewhat by
Best quarterback
default
in the NFL.
because wait, stop talking about
I said
Lamar
quarter-
Jackson here. Come on.
I said
I mean-
quarterback.
Oh,
I mean,
quarterback,
Philly's the only
basic running
undefeated
back.
team we got left.
Yeah,
Philly's the only
Philly
undefeated
is-
team, and when you're talking about MVP, they always look at record to be part of the conversation. Jalen Hurts is top 5 in passing yards. He's not there in passing touchdowns, but he's top 10 in passer rating. He's top 10 in QBR. So a lot of those categories that we rate how good a quarterback is, Jalen Hurts is up in that conversation, and he's leading the best, probably arguably the best offense in the NFL. Outside, that's not even, I can't even say the Bills because they haven't shown, like, the Eagles have never trailed in the second half of a game. They haven't even really been tested. So I think that all that kind of plays into why I think Jalen Hurts through 4 weeks is the front runner for MVP. But Ray made a good point, is that yes, through the first couple of weeks, you can see a lot of these are clumped up. Let's revisit in like week 8 or 9. And then that's probably a good conversation piece to start for the MVP.
Jalen
I just
Hurts
never thought I would say I'm excited to see the Eagles versus Cowboys now.
No, I'm not. It's gonna be a slaughter. It's gonna be a slaughter. My guy Jalen Hurts. That's my quarterback. Now that Tua Tagovailoa is out, I'm a leech on to a quarterback. I'm not even a Philly fan, and I'm out here claiming Jalen Hurts, bro.
So you're not gonna take the claim of Cooper Goat Rush?
No, sir. No, sir. I will say this. He is making a legitimate argument to keep the starting job at least the rest of the year. Now, personally,
argument.
I wouldn't. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday. He's a Dallas fan. He said no. Because Cowboys Twitter going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They literally remember how a couple years ago the Eagles locker room they made a shrine for Nick Foles. Yeah, well, Cowboys fans is doing that this year for Cooper Rush.
Yep.
Oh, and Coop they trust.
Yes, it's insane.
I mean, he's undefeated.
Yeah,
as a starter.
He is undefeated.
which is why I'm saying it. On top of that, he kind of I don't know,
don't
man.
rush to put me out the game.
And it's crazy because when he drops back, he don't look scared. He's like, on my mother, I'm throwing this ball 20 yards. I'm going long. No one can stop me. Like, it props to him. And there has been some beautiful dots he's been delivering.
Yeah. And Pride, not to mention, I think he has a better rapport with CeeDee Lamb.
Way better.
Than Dak does.
Way better. And Nick, you could tell because every time, like when usually when the backup is announced to come in, you see the wide receiving core go, man, like, they kind of just like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? But like, it's weird. Like when they were like, oh yeah, it's Cooper Rush. You see CeeDee Lamb like pregame, he's like having fun with them and like laughing. I'm like, why are you having fun with him? You get no touches, bro. Like, what are you doing? I think it was like the third play. Like the third play he did this year. I think it was the third or fourth. He hit CeeDee Lamb, who was running a beautiful seam route, by the way. Ran a beautiful seam route. Perfect pass in between two defenders. Just like phenomenal pass. And CeeDee Lamb just stands up and he's just like you can see him through the helmet smiling and whatnot. And I'm like, I've never seen you this happy with Dak. What's going on here? Yo? I've never seen you this happy with him. But not to your point, Rob. He got a beautiful rapport with not only him, Michael Gallup too.
All right, welcome back, MG.
Right? Like I thought, oh yeah, they were gonna struggle. Nah. He was like, yo, Michael Gallup, you just came back? All right, yeah, come back into the end zone, boy. And he gave him a touchdown for no reason. I was like, wow.
And to answer your question, Damian, yes, that's crazy. Nope.
I will say this to touch on that. I get why people are saying that. Because every time they're in the red zone, they basically that's why Jalen Hurts isn't the top 10 at passing touchdowns, because when in the red zone, they give it to Miles Sanders. I'm glad they do that because I got him in fantasy. So if you want to say a fantasy MVP, I think you could make that argument because he's kind of racking up touchdowns sometimes. But if you're talking about real life MVP,
like if you're a running back and you trying to win MVP, you gotta almost run over 2,000 yards. Like
no.
I was just gonna say that, Rob.
You gotta hit the record. Remember AP?
Yeah, you got to do something.
You gotta go. Forget 2,000. You gotta hit that record. That's the only way you'll be in the conversation.
Yeah, I think if you want to be in the MVP conversation as a running back, it's got to be minimum 2,000 yards, pushing for that record. You got to have you got to be averaging like. Remember LT LaDainian Tomlinson when he would average like 2 touchdowns a game?
Who's that?
He's not the real LT, but he used the initials.
LaDainian Tomlinson. Come on.
Who's that?
Come on.
You know from the
LT2,
San Diego Chargers.
LT2. How about that?
Remember he used to do this? When
he did the little celebration.
Oh, you're talking about the guy who played for Dallas, right? Right?
No.
I know what you're doing, Pride. I'm not gonna let you do it.
he, before anyone gets mad at me, he played for the Chargers. Settle down.
I know you know. We know you know.
I know. Before
Pride's really good about finding that button and pushing that button.
But I do have to tell people when I say LT, I'll be like, the other LT.
No, I don't call him LT because it always ends up with confusion. And then every time you try to give David Tomlinson any love and you say LT, it always goes back to Lawrence Taylor. So I just say his name.
Lawrence Taylor was the LT. Mm-hmm. What he tell Michael Parsons? My name is on the last page in the chapter of best defenders of all time. You better put some respect on LT name.
Yes, sir. TJ Hawkinson was cooking, bro.
Woo, TJ Hawkinson finally, like that's what kind of the Lions organization has been expecting of him since they brought him in, and he hadn't really done that a ton. But hey, when you take out the top 2-3 options on the offense, you got no one else to throw it to but TJ Hawkinson. So there you go. But the Lions were out there running with the wide receiver core from 2019, where they had absolutely no one on the roster. But yeah, I think a lot of people have been waiting, especially fantasy owners have been waiting for TJ Hawkinson because he's been hyped up preseason that he's going to be one of the top tight ends in fantasy, and he finally actually did what he was expected.
I mean,
this last weekend.
Forget fantasy. I honestly have expectations for him to be not only a top 5 tight end in the league in real life. Like, I thought last year was going to be his coming out party where he's like, all right, look, now, because obviously the number 1 and number 2 is either Travis Kelce or George Kittle, whoever you want, right? That's 1 and 2, right? Whatever way you want to put. Then it's Darren Waller at 3. No, I don't care about Mark Andrews. Okay, shut up, Mark Andrews.
Put some respect on Mark Andrews. Now he number 2 in the league.
Oh, you say he's what?
Number 2, best.
He's not better than George Kittle. He's not better than Travis Kelce.
George who?
George who? George Kittle. George Kittle, yeah. By the way, I'm going to start saying now because Max Dupree is gone and my boy L.A. Knight is back. So I'm going to be screaming, yeah, again. So I just want that to be known. But I had high expectations for TJ Hawkinson. And it's like, he had a great game, but that's kind of been his entire thing. He'll have a couple great games, and then people get hyped up, and then he goes back to not mediocrity, but just good-ish, right? Where it's like, he's still talented, so you would want him, but he's not that upper, Vance is a smart man. There are 6 like Mark Andrews. Yeah, bro.
There's a handful of them.
Yeah. But anyway, honestly, I just hope he can kind of keep this going. Granted, he's not going to get the touches because Swift is going to be back, and they love running the ball with him and Jamal Williams. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is making a name for himself. I think in 2 years, we're going to be talking about this kid in top 10. This kid, if not by the end of the year. This kid is insane. But with all them come back, he's going to lose touches. But I just hope he just doesn't go back to like a corner.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If they can keep the other weapons, the Lions can keep the rest of their weapons healthy, it's going to be hard for Hawkinson to get this type of production every week, but take advantage of it while you can right now, because Hawkinson's playing for a contract extension. And if he can ball out for a couple weeks without Swift, without Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams hasn't even played a snap for the Lions yet. Those 3 guys are going to be 3 of the top options in this offense. So eat while you can, because you're playing for a massive contract extension. Because you look at the NFC, there's not a ton of other tight ends like that could make more. I forget who's it. We were talking about a couple weeks ago, last month. Dawson Knox got a big contract extension. Yep. Was that you and me, Pride?
Yep.
And Hawkinson's on that level or higher. So
he's better than Dawson Knox.
Right. So, but his contract level, like that's the minimum contract he's going to be seeking. Mm-hmm. So for Lions fans, we've talked about this all offseason. Does he deserve that? Based on this game, I'd talk about it, but he needs to produce while the big options are out. Right. And then hopefully he's, can produce when they come back as well. That's what he's got to play for. So that's where Hawkinson's at right now in Detroit, is he's got to be able to produce while the guys are out and then prove that he can still do it when those guys come back.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, what game was it? Like, everyone calls him Sun God, and I know why they call him that, because his name, Amon-Ra, literally means God of the Sun. I knew that from, which game was it? It's one of the Call of Duties. It's Zombies, where, like, the perks are replaced with like the gods of the elements.
Oh, okay.
Kids, do not go to school. Play video games. It will teach you all you need to know. Who needs college, bro?
Yeah, if you look at it too, the one team that's surprising me is Seattle. Right now, Seattle is playing ball. They're 2-2. The whole NFC West is 2-2. Mm-hmm. Every single body in the NFC West is 2-2. But also, it's surprising that Geno has a better passing yards and more yards than Russell Wilson at this moment.
He also leads the NFL in completion percentage.
Yeah.
And this is a dude that they'll let him air it out. So
yeah,
it's not like he's just fiending off of checkdowns. They open the playbook for him occasionally. And
then they got that rookie Quick Woolen, the corner. That dude is balling also, man. As a rookie, he has high praise. They have high praise for him because I listened to some of the Seattle media out there. They saying that he could be the next Richard Sherman. And, that's a high praise that you're talking about right there for that kid. But he's producing right now. I mean, he's balling. That defense is balling without Bobby Wagner there. I mean, this whole Seattle team is done completely turned around. And they are balling on the offensive side and the defensive side right now. And then that's surprising because you figured they've been 0-4 right now.
Gino the GOAT.
Yeah, respect. Put respect.
And when y'all talking about tight ends, if you ain't talking about Cole Kmet, I don't want to hit. No, I'm just playing. I can't even say that with a serious fact.
Yeah, there you go. But listen. Go ahead.
I will say if you're a betting person and you're looking at week in and week out of NFL, here's two easy ways to make money. Whatever game the Lions are playing, take the over because they're on pace to break the NFL record for most points given up in a single season.
And what other record they're about to break?
What other record are you talking about?
Dude, you didn't hear? They're on pace to break the record for most points scored too.
Yeah. Because they got 100
defense.
They got 140 for the offense, and the defense is giving up 141.
Yep. So take the over.
That's insane.
Take the over and then pick the Lions to cover because they've been really good against the spread under Dan Campbell. But yeah, that's just any team. So I give Geno Smith a lot of credit of what he's done the first couple weeks. However, looking at the Lions through the first 3 weeks, I talked about this on Friday and I got a lot of shade for it, that the Lions would and could lose badly. They were down by almost 20 points.
But they didn't lose that bad.
They end up losing by 3 because that's the MO of Dan Campbell now. Hey, let's get down by 14, 17, 20 points, and then let's make our way back and lose by 3. Like that's a Dan Campbell special.
I will say this. I have dubbed this season of the year of the backup. Because the backup quarterbacks have been coming in and they've been doing their thing from Jacoby Brissett to Cooper Brissett. Jacoby Brissett. I wouldn't say his name right.
Brisket.
But you know what? From Jacoby to Geno to Flacco to Cooper Rush. I mean, this the year of the back. I mean, even Jimmy G, because unfortunately,
you can't
coming into this year. So
Geno's coming into the year.
Geno is a backup, but he's actually the starter.
I mean, he's their starter, but he has revitalized himself to be a suitable starter in this league. But he was a backup, unfortunately.
Yeah, and get to Craig's thing. Detroit leads the NFL in scoring offense, and they lead the NFL in scoring defense.
They're like everyone's fantasy team that's frustrated where you got the most points. Like, I'm going to crush it this week. And then you end up playing the person that outscores you. And they're the only two. You're the only two, the highest points for and the highest points against. Yep. That's how frustrating it is to be a Lions fan this year. Is we're like, this is the thing. Awesome. We're scoring points.
But here's the thing.
Giving up the most.
I wouldn't even be frustrated if I'm a Lions fan. Honestly, I love this. You want to know why? Because I'm probably going to finish with a horrible record. And guess what? We already won a quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of showing like, hey, look what we did with Jared Goff. Look at all these points we're putting up. Now we have a youngster that's on the same timeline as the rest of the team. Like, I love it. If I'm a Lions fan, I would.
So you think Detroit is eyeing Bryce Young?
110. And I don't think Bryce Young, because I don't think they're going to finish with the worst record. I think that's reserved for the Houston Texans. But
yeah,
I do think CJ Stroud is probably on their thing as well. Maybe if they can get Bryce Young, that's who they would want.
Yeah, he's in the conversation. But so the problem that I have, and if it's the problem that I have about it is, I try not to get too deep in this conversation because it's a very slippery slope. Mm-hmm. I will avoid Ohio State quarterbacks like the plague because they've shown that they can't succeed in the NFL. Their system in college, they don't have to make a lot of reads. It's literally like make one read, throw it deep, or make one read, throw a crossing route. Like that's all they have to do. In the NFL, you can't do that.
But that's like 85, 90. And Ray, you can attest to this. That's most of college football.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because most of them, they're just relying on their athleticism, not really like breaking down plays.
And that's one thing, but I'm not confident in Ohio State quarterbacks at all.
Aren't you?
And I'm not even 100% confident in Alabama quarterbacks either.
Well,
so I'm just
get your touch on the. If I can get your touch on the college thing with respect to Ohio State. Ohio State's Offensive coordinator don't teach their quarterbacks how to read defense. They just tell them to get out there. You're athletic enough. We got good wide receivers. All we're going to do is run this one pick play and have the receiver run off the pick play, and he's going to be wide up and just throw the ball to him. That's all they do. That's all. If you watch Ohio State's offense, that's what they do. Half of their plays are coming off pick plays. And they telling you, hey, if this guy on the pick goes with this guy, you throw to the guy that's setting the pick. That's all they telling them. They don't teach you how to read defense, and then that's the problem. That's going to be the problem with Strutt when he gets to the NFL, when he has to sit down and read the defense.
But I don't think it'll necessarily be it'll be a problem if you think CJ Stroud is gonna come in and be NFL ready. Like if you're willing to spend a pick and let him experience because you're not in a win now mode, then that's one thing, where the Lions are. The Lions are in a situation where we don't really care to win for the next 2 to 3 years. We just need to focus on getting a young quarterback and giving them the opportunity to grow and experience everything. If that's the type of quarterback you need, that's one thing. And that's where that doesn't matter. If you're like a team like Tampa Bay, that like when Tom Brady's out, you need to draft the quarterback to replace him to try to keep them on the boat. You're not looking for a guy like CJ Stroud. You know what I mean?
So herein lies the paradox, right? I'm 100% with you, Pride. Like I think a lot of quarterbacks, very few of them are the guys that are going to come in week one, plug and play. However, we as fans in the media, how many people have been pining for Kenny Pickett to play and he goes in and just craps the bed?
But that's different. That's different.
No. My point is, we are pining for these guys that are drafted in the first round to, we'll sit them back for a couple of years. And then 3 weeks into the season, nope, put the rookie in. And then he goes out, doesn't do well. And I'll even say, like, I'm not going to say this I'm going to throw Trey Lance into this conversation because regardless of talent level, how long have they been pining for him to play? And then they finally play him. And then if he doesn't look good, now you're stuck in a situation. I think the NFL teams and coaches, front offices have been put into this really awful situation. And I've said this on the show before. They're put in the awful situation that they're being forced to play these guys too early and not let them sit and develop. And that's the NFL we run into. We expect guys to come in and look like the LeBron James of the NFL and come in and just light up the league. That should not happen. It doesn't happen very often. Mm-hmm. We're expecting every rookie quarterback to do that.
Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
But if you look at it too, when we were talking about the situation here, if you look at Pittsburgh's situation, they let Kenny Pickett come in the third week. But they don't have a quarterback there that can establish themselves. I mean, he's up behind Mitch Trubisky. He didn't do anything either. He hasn't done anything the first 3 weeks, really, except for that first week. Basically, then he sucked the rest of the time. He's getting saggy, missing balls, throws like that. That situation is a little bit different for Kenny Pickett because he is forced in there now because he has a better arm. And give him a few weeks to learn the playbook a little bit more. You'll see a better Kenny Pickett. I think he's a little bit better quarterback, but I think he's a little bit too early to get in right now. But the situation calls for him to get in early because Mitch Trubisky is not doing anything.
And that's my point exactly. Is you gotta let guys develop, learn the playbook, learn how to read defenses. Those that haven't had that experience, having guys maybe put them in spot situations or let them grow in the preseason and stuff like that. But throwing them out there early in the season and be like, hey, go save our team. Go do that. That stuff.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. Here's why I think it's different. Kenny Pickett in college was average. Let's just talk about it. He wasn't phenomenal. No one cared about Kenny Pickett until he did the fake slide. Then all of a sudden, this kid is great. This kid is sensational. No, he did one fake slide, which, don't get it twisted, it's very impressive. Extremely impressive. But that was the only reason people talked about him. That's it. Everyone knew he wasn't good. The only people who didn't think he was good was one or two people. Either one, you didn't know college football and you pretended you did, so you thought he was good. Or two, you're one of those high risk, high reward type of guys that love to gamble. The thing with Kenny Pickett, though, was when Pittsburgh drafted him, they sold everyone in Pittsburgh that this kid was NFL ready.
Yeah.
That's the difference with it. With the Lions, you're willing to say, all right, look, this kid isn't ready, but we think he could be ready in a couple years. Now you start him kind of like what the Bears did with, to a lesser degree, with Justin Fields, right? When they put him in, they were like, look, we gave him time. Now he's ready to learn, right?
Yeah.
The reason with Pittsburgh, they pretended, oh yeah, we put Kenny Pickett out there and we'll be fine. No, because the kid is just not good. He's just not. I've been screaming this from the beginning. This quarterback class was the weakest I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay? It is the weakest I've ever seen in my entire life. My son, who's one, I could have rolled him out there and he would have been a first-round draft pick with the lack of talent here. And there was only one quarterback that went in the first round. And who was it? Kenny Pickett. He was the only one that went in the first round. And when they did that, when Pittsburgh took the lashing that they deserved, they then went to the round saying, this guy is ready to learn. He's ready, and he will start. Before they even announced who was a starter, they gave Mitchell Trubisky the captain sign. This kid is just not good. That's the difference. The difference is they try to pretend like he was. With the Lions, it's okay for you to go get a kid and go, all right, look, just be honest. Is he NFL ready now? No. But he will be in 2 years, and let's give him that experience. So that way, in 4 years, boom, we hit the ground running. You know, so that's why I think that Pittsburgh situation is different. And by the way, someone said Stroud over Young. That's some bias. That's a little bit of biasness. That's a little bit of biasness. I will say CJ Stroud, in my opinion, is the second best quarterback in the nation. I will give you that.
So just throwing this out here, because you got me intrigued. I was looking at the latest mock drafts. The first quarterback off the board is neither of those two guys.
Hold on. Where does he play for?
This quarterback plays in the SEC.
Does he go to USC?
Nope.
Whoa.
The first quarterback off the board in the latest mock draft that I was just looking for, because you got me intrigued. Is a quarterback that plays in the SEC.
Plays with Kentucky. Levis.
Bingo.
No shot.
They got Seattle. Well, they also have Seattle right now projected as the first pick. So they're probably expecting that some of these teams are going to kind of fall off a little bit. But this is the fun stuff about mock drafts. Talking this early in the season.
That's too early to talk about mock drafts.
The kid has 13 picks. What are we talking about?
The first two quarterbacks off the board are both from the SEC, and neither of them are Bryce Young.
No shot. Who's this other mystery guy?
The kid from Florida, Richardson, who also can't throw the football.
Dude, that dude can't even read defense. That man threw a pick right to a freaking. He threw it to the Kentucky corner like he was the wide receiver.
Vance, I agree. We're all wondering the same thing. But
no way, Rick.
CBS
Hey Vance, I'm just gonna sit here like this.
Can I guess the third quarterback? Because if we're just drafting mediocrity, is DJ Ukulele from Clemson in there or something?
Hey, what mock draft are you looking at?
I'm looking on CBS Sports.
Oh, that's your problem. That's your problem right there. That's your problem.
Okay.
What would you rather do? Pick ESPN?
No.
When it comes to college, they're a little better than CBS. A little bit.
No, if you want to go get your real mock draft, go find somebody that is not on either ESPN, Fox, or CBS. They're the ones that have the better mock drafts.
What you're saying, not reputable. Got it. Okay.
Craig, let's go to Bleacher Report. They're gonna have Stetson Bennett as one. So we're gonna get a little bit better, little bit better, but still not.
Those of you guys can't tell. I know Damian and Vance are just laughing their asses off right now. We love chaos on this show. We love to throw chaos around. Yeah, we love stirring the pot a little bit.
Yeah, because according to one I just found, they said CJ Stroud is number one.
Good
quarterback.
That's reputable. And where'd you go from?
Where'd you go?
WalterFootball.com.
Now, Walter Football is that they're
okay.
And Bryce Young is projected as number 2.
There you go.
Wow.
I just hope Bryce Young didn't tear his rotator cuff though.
No.
All right. We just put some dots together here. I think Vance is a Buckeye fan.
No, he did. He said it earlier.
He did say that.
He said when he said Stroud
He
over
said the
Young.
bias. There it is.
Yes,
right
yes,
there.
yes.
Mm.
Oh man.
Oh, he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't like my. Oh, he's from Columbus, Ohio. Okay, that makes sense. I'm so sorry.
Big Ten.
Wow.
Big Ten. I'll represent for the Big Ten. But all right, let's kind of change some gears a little bit. And I know you guys, we had talked about this last week. I think it was on Friday, right after the Thursday night game. All the situation surrounding Tua Tagovailoa or Tua Tagovailoa.
There you go. Respect him.
Put some respect on his name.
That's respect with a K. Respect.
One of the first. Yeah, I agree, Vance. All love. No, we're not trying to throw any hate around in this show.
No.
We don't do that.
We'll poke fun at you, but
yes,
it's
we
from
poke
a
fun at
place
each
of-
other.
It's from a
but all
place
in
of
good fun.
hatred. Okay,
Yeah,
it's from a
it's all
place of
good fun.
hatred.
Mary J. Blige said it best. Don't need no hateration or holleration in this dancery.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sure. So Tua, this situation, guy got as we all kind of figured would happen. Guy got fired for putting Tua back in the game.
You fired. Oh my God! Oh, that was perfect. Oh my God!
Hey, he cost the Dolphins billions and billions of dollars.
I no lie. I want to hear Trump just like go nuts on this guy. He's like, it's ridiculous. It's an outrage. Do you guys watch Jesus and
This
Mero?
entire situation is huge.
I have a
huge news.
I have a huge
NFL.
plan.
Oh my God, bro.
I
I'm
have a
sorry.
huge
Go ahead.
plan. No more concussions.
All right. But the Tua news came out. NFLPA is still continuing their investigation. At least one head has rolled already. I'm curious to ask you guys. Pride, I want to start with you. I know because you probably got a lot to say about this following up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of how the NFL has been handling the Tua situation since over the weekend?
I just think it's funny how the NFL isn't doing anything. It's a player association. So what does that tell you? All it does is back up what I've been saying.
Inside job.
No, it's not an inside job. It's not even an inside job. The NFL clear, like Ray said, they were in part, because people forget this. When it comes to the concussion protocol, the NFL also has to clear you. The NFL cleared you so that way they can keep their game. That's all this tells me. Because the NFL didn't fire him. It was the Players Association that was like, all right, come on now. Like, let's get it together. Like, and from what I understand, it is the guy who brought him in from the Bills in the Bills game, the Week 3 matchup. He was the one who got fired. I'm trying to find his name, the piece of garbage.
Yeah, they didn't list. I'm looking at the New York Times article here. I didn't see the name.
Nah, they just keep saying unnamed. I'm gonna try to find him. I'm gonna dox him. I'm kidding. I don't fully mean it.
Yeah,
but
it says in the article he's not been publicly identified, but he has been dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Dr. Ann McKay. He's a neuropathologist at director of Boston University CTE Center. Tells people he is a clear of brain injuries with brain dysfunction. That's the person. So that's who we got.
I don't think that's that's a person. I think that's just like that because they've been basically having a whole bunch of neurosurgeons like, hey, look, he was hurt. So they have like 15 of those. Let me see if I can find the guy. I'll try to find him in a few, but it for me, it's ridiculous. The fact that it took, and here's the thing, man, I don't know if Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the same. And I'm not even saying this as a joke.
No, it's gonna be it's gonna be mental issue every time he goes to get hit.
Nope,
I think it's gonna mess with him. It's
that.
gonna mess with his psyche.
I know that's a little bit, but I don't even think it's that, Rob. Do you want to know how I think this might play out? To a situation like you saw with Antonio Brown. That Vontaze Burfict hit had him acting a fool. My man took the equivalent of 2 of those. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go on a full-blown bender and expose himself in a hotel pool. I'm not saying he's going to do that.
Yeah, Antonio Brown wilding.
Well, he bugging. But you know what's probably going to happen? Tua's going to wake up. He's going to brush his teeth. He's going to go eat cereal. Then he's going to go, oh, I didn't brush my teeth. He's going to brush his teeth and go to bed. Fam, it's 8:30 in the morning. What are you doing? I'm not joking. That's the route that this could happen because those 2 hits, when your fingers lock up like that, look like throwing up gang signs. And my guy a Christian?
Man. I was scared for him. All honestly though, dude. When I was scared.
There have been reports the Will Smith movie Concussion, the famed neurosurgeon Bennett O'Malley is the one who's he's even came out and expressed interest since the 2 hits. Please do not play football again. If you love your life, he even made a quote. This is a quote from him. If you love your life, don't play any more downs. That's what he has. That's his advice.
Tell the truth.
Like a lot of people, what they want Tua to do, they want him to start one game and just to take a kneel just so he can get his flowers. They want him to take an immediate kneel so that way he could be replaced and everyone can cheer for him in Miami and he can get his flowers and all that stuff.
I just hate that he was like starting to get it right. He was starting to like kind of understand the NFL. And then boom, just like that, man. You know, some negligence by your team because everybody could clearly see who was watching that game. This dude got a concussion. He's not there. And if I can see that, I'm not a trained medical profession. I have not spent hours and hours in class and in the labs and in these hospitals doing things. But I know how it looks for somebody is not all there when the lights are on, but nobody's home. I know how that looks. And,
so I know,
unfortunately,
Pride,
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, Pride, you and I had talked about this on the morning show, is that until this investigation is done by the NFLPA, Tua should not play another down, whether he's cleared or not.
And me personally, if I'm Tua Tagovailoa, I'm sorry, Tua Tagovailoa, until the investigation wraps up, I don't touch a football. I don't think about football. I would go so as far as I would cancel NFL Red Zone in my house. Like he needs
lawyer up.
Bro, if I'm Tua, I'm the commissioner of the NFL. But before all this is said and done, either I'm the commissioner or I own a majority stake in the team, because this is something that, and the kid is so young. I'm older than Tua. Let that
you a baby.
Oh,
he's 24 years old.
Yeah. Oh wait, we're the same age. Damn, I thought he was 23. Even so,
he's 24.
Oh man, I wish I was Tua. Well, not now because he going through it right now. But
it sucks, man. It really.
Dude,
does.
If you look at this too, if he takes another sustainable hit like that, he could be gone. He's talking about further brain damage. When you further brain damage, that means you could end up on life support. That means you could end up in your parents might say, hey, I don't want him to be on life support the rest of his life. So, pull the plug,
we know that it's serious trauma when you lose control of your bodily functions.
Yeah, we got to bring up Vance's comment here. He's had 13 concussions for playing high school and college ball. Absolutely changed my personality and the person I am to this day. That right there is a lot. It says a lot about how violent the sport is, but how this could drastically change Tua. And Pride, you mentioned it. He probably won't go off the deep end like Antonio Brown because that stuff was already underlying for Antonio Brown anyway.
Right.
But for Tua, it's going to drastically change who he is as a human being from now until the end of life. So to have people come out and say, hey, Tua, you should probably not play ever again because this situation was handled up. And yet, by the way, get a ton of lawyers because he won't even need much. Like he's gonna get a lot in return as soon as he files a lawsuit.
Can I say
and to
one thing real
to
quick?
you, Vance, man, many blessings to you, brother.
Yes, sir. Because
Continue to fight the good fight, bro.
Oh yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah.
true. Trust me, I've had my fair share of concussions, right? So it's like it's scary, dog. Because when you get a concussion, bro, like it feels like a slight headache, sometimes a little ringing, but you feel physically fine. You feel like you could walk and everything's all good.
Oh yeah.
And you think you're good until all of a sudden you're falling off to the side and you have someone holding you up. That's the thing. A lot of people don't realize they have concussions until you're on the verge of falling and you're stumbling around and you have someone holding you and you're like, what are you doing? Get off me. Like when the first offensive lineman grabbed Tua, he's trying to push him like, get off me. What are you doing, bro? I'm a Christian, man. What are you doing?
He like, whoa. Did you see you can see their expressions through the mask.
He was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you touching me, bro? Like, we got the same jersey. Go hit him. And then the other one came and grabbed him. And when he grabbed him, he didn't even look at him. He looked down. And it's almost as if he was like, oh, now I'm hurt. Now I feel it. And it's like, now he kind of was like, I don't want to say it clicked because mentally during a concussion, your mind's all over the place. But I think the realization was, I'm not okay. I don't know what it is, but I am not good. So for a piece of garbage neurosurgeon who probably never did a surgery a day in their life, ever, okay, probably failed high school, okay, probably had no background in doing anything that they serve Herbalife and think that's their medical background. For them to say, oh yeah, let's send them back out there. I'm glad he got fired. I'm glad.
He should have been fired. And can I take this to Damien? Damien, you got to understand, regardless if Tua says that he wants to go play or not, and he thinks he's okay, it's the job of the medical professional. It's the job of the team to protect the player from himself. A lot of players, due to that competitive nature, if I'm up, if I can move, I can go. And unfortunately, you can't. And he should have been set down. Somebody should have said, Tua, you come sit right here by me, and we're going to evaluate you even further. The moment that he lost consciousness should have been, let's not put him back in the game.
Yeah.
We will evaluate him further. We'll go back to the medical, to the facility. We'll go get an MRI. We'll go get a CAT scan. We'll go make sure everything is okay. But right now, off the eye test, as me and Pride like to talk about, my eye test is telling me that you don't have it all right now.
I'm going to put it to you this way. If you need help standing up, I'm taking you out.
And part of the NFLPA putting together independent neurosurgeons, independent doctors that are not affiliated with the team is to handle situations like this where, hey, from a third party perspective, you don't look good, man. I know you say you want to play. How many guys, like, I know Vance mentioned it, no one wants to take themselves out of the game. No. Players want to play.
It's competitive nature.
And
especially when you're going against the Bills. And we're the Miami Dolphins have been the laughing stock of the league for the past 15 years. We want to beat the Bills. Yes.
I'll give a great example that comes to my mind is Stafford's rookie season for the Lions playing against the Browns. He separated his shoulder. He shattered his shoulder. And he's just like, nope, he's like, can I still play? Can I still play? And he goes down and scores a touchdown, and he gained a ton of respect from the city, but at what cost for him down the line?
I'll tell you the cost. All the surgeries he's having now.
Yeah. Right. All the surgeries he's having now is because of the result of what's happened of playing so many years in the NFL. That's what we're talking about, Damien. It's not that Tua should have said, hey, no, I'm not ready to go. He could, but he wants to play. Guys want to play. This is not like a Ben Simmons situation where he's just afraid to go out there and play.
Whoa.
Yeah, you heard me.
Yeah, hold on. Time out. That's why these third parties are doing is they're here to make sure guys are like, hey, yeah, I'm good to go. No. The eye test says you're not ready to go. Go ahead, Pride. I'm not going to let you get away with that slander. First and foremost, he had a back injury. He's healthy. Second, he just played. I want the record.
Oh, you know what though? They look good.
But who? Ben Simmons? Oh,
Brooklyn looks good.
Brooklyn?
Oh yeah. I ain't gonna say. Good.
I know they lost. But the start is good. I'm looking at first halves when I'm looking at preseason.
You know who
The
looking bad?
Lakers.
Phoenix. No, I knew the Lakers was gonna be bad. Let's keep it a bean. But the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, they lost to the 36ers.
What the heck is going
Yeah.
on? The
176ers,
176ers, bro. Like, what is going on, bro? Like, yo, I'm like, yo, Luka really ruined this franchise, bro. Like, Luka exposed Robert Server, right? He made DeAndre and not want to come back, right? So Chris Paul hate to say no more.
Because when I saw it on Instagram, I said they lost to the 76ers, and then I reread it. I said, no, the 36ers.
Yeah, that's the Aussie team, Australian team.
Australia. Yeah, bro. Imagine doing that fight just to get out. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So I'm glad you guys said that because that's actually one of the next topics we want to talk about today. This is a great segue. Let's shift to the NBA and talk about the preseason. Has been getting underway now. Media day was this last week.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams started playing. The Kings played the Lakers last night. There's a handful of games. There's 4 different games that are slated to play tonight, including the Pistons and the Knicks, Bulls, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Heat, Jazz, Blazers. So the question that I have for you guys, and we can kind of do this leading up to the season as well as do like predictions and stuff like that. But let's just say like who right now is your front runner for the NBA title? I think Rob's got an answer.
Right? You see them dubs up, right?
That's an E.
Everybody's
That's an E. So that's an E.
hey, say it with me now. Warriors. Oh, them boys look good. Oh, them boys look real good. And Steph, I trust. That's all I got to say. He's terrific, and he makes it look Stefferless.
Oh goodness,
I hate basketball.
Let it go, Pride. Let it go.
Pride. You're
Let
a
it go.
Celtics guy, aren't you?
Free email. I would have done the same thing.
Free email.
Look, unfortunately, listen. I'm just gonna be that guy. I'm gonna go against the grain. Okay. I'm not gonna pick any Western team. Okay. I hate Golden State with passion. Vance, in case I haven't seen you around here, so I want to explain to you the hatred I have for Steph Curry. This is the hatred I have for Steph Curry.
Let it go, Pride.
I hope he loses his vision ever so slightly, not too much. I want him to get glasses, and I want them to be the perfect prescription. But when he takes it off, I want his sight to be just a slight bit blurry. Not enough to be crazy, but just enough for him to be, man, I got to put on the glasses. That's the type of hatred I have for Steph Curry. The hatred I have for Steph Curry, I hope when he goes and puts on his new shorts, I hope they are slightly loose. Just a hair. Just a hair. So it's an inconvenience. I hate the man so much. I wish nothing but inconveniences for the man. Okay? That's the hatred I have for him. Okay? I swear to God, I hope when he goes and fills up at the pump, I just hope the card machine ain't working. He's got to walk inside to pay. That's the inconvenience I have for Steph Curry. Okay? Pure hatred, bro. All right? Let me just... So I'm not going to give the Golden State Warriors their flowers. I'm not going to give them the respect, okay? I cut my hair for them, all right? I think the time of giving them love is gone, okay? I'm done with this, okay? Listen, in spite of everything...
You better not pick the Celtics.
Oh, I'm going to. Come on, fam. You know how delusional I get. Come on now. Come on.
I don't know who's worse. You and the Celtics or Skip with the Cowboys?
You want to know what the difference is? The difference is I know I'm delusional, so like I have a little bit of my credibility left. Just a smidgen, right? Skip believe what he say. You feel me? I just have the disclaimer of, I'm biased and all that stuff. But I think we can. I really do.
They not coming out the East, Pride.
You don't think who do you think is coming out the East?
Either Milwaukee or Brooklyn.
We handled Milwaukee. Milwaukee ain't but a thing. Okay.
Milwaukee didn't have Chris Middleton, bro.
And Chris Middleton is so impactful and so great that they wanted to trade him no less than 4 times.
We could say the same thing about Jaylen Brown. He was the best player in the
finals.
Whoa. He's like, let me roll up the sleeves for a second.
Hold on. Are you trying to tell me that Chris Middleton is on par with Jaylen Brown?
They are both all-stars, right?
See, I love what Rob's trying to do. Because what Rob is trying to do, he knows he's going to say no. He knows it, but he wants to avoid saying no. By the way, Damon said the Cavs taking the East. Okay, hold that L.
Okay, I think the Cavs are the sleeper team right now in the NBA.
Sleeper, sure,
You
but they're
you,
not.
you
They're not
get
big.
Donovan Mitchell over there. You still got Darius Garland. You got Jared out. Don't they got a
Here's-
squad?
They need.
But not to
They're
take
they're very intriguing to me, and that the Central Division became a lot more difficult for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem that I have with Cleveland is they've got a lot of offense on the perimeter. They don't have a lot of perimeter defense.
True.
And that's what their problem's going to be. They're not going to have a problem scoring points. And yeah, you can funnel guys down to Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, and you can do that, but you still got to have perimeter defense to take that step. I think the Cavs top 3 seed, I don't think so, but they're definitely a playoff team.
I think they're
the 6th seed.
They're like top 6.
Yeah,
I still think the
think they're
Bulls
6.
gonna have a better record than them. I'm going, I got love for DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan.
Trust me. When he was going on his MVP run, man, Rob was insatiable until they lost, and all of a sudden he was a Golden State boy. But him and Mike Hughes were.
I'm always a Steph boy. Don't forget it.
Anyway,
I think the top teams that they have to beat, they gotta first get out of their own division, because you got the Bucks are the team to beat in the Central. But Boston's gonna be better, Milwaukee's gonna be better, Philly even could be better, and then Brooklyn. So there's already 4 teams that are better right now. But the Cavs are making they're making some headway.
Oh yeah, no, listen, 5 or in my opinion, they're 5 or 6. I don't think they're if they're like the 7th or 8th seed, then you should consider that season a failure. You know what I mean?
Pistons do look decent.
So
but not decent enough to they don't look decent enough to make noise though.
Here's my thing. I'm being very realistic about the Pistons this year because last year they only had 23 wins?
Yep.
Roughly. The fact that you've got Cade Cunningham, who was majorly disrespected by not getting Rookie of the Year, throwing that out there.
Who got Rookie of the Year?
What's that?
Who got Rookie of the Year?
Scotty Barnes, I think, right?
Oh, not Cade Cunningham. Okay, good. Just
Scotty Barnes, Mr. Toronto.
Yeah. Okay. There's already 2 other guys in the East that are better than Scotty Barnes. Come at me. So anyway,
but not rookies though.
So yes, I'm talking about 2 other rookies last year that were better than Scotty Barnes.
Who? Don't say
Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley.
You can say Evan Mobley if you want, not Cade Cunningham.
Hold your roll. Slow down.
No.
Outside of the first month of the season, Cade Cunningham.
Month?
Yes. Go look at his stats. Go look at his stats. Go look at his stats. He was injured 45%
from the floor
of the year. Wow. He was injured for the first month or 2 of the year, and then
came back
once he got back in, come December, which is 2 months into the season. December on, he was the best rookie in the East. Okay.
No, he wasn't.
So here's how I look at with that. I don't even remember what we were talking about, because we're talking about the top 4 teams of the East, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're talking about the top 4 teams of the East. That's the teams. Like, Cavs are making moves, and we're talking about the Pistons. Pistons are not going to be the last team. They're not going to be a play-in team, because I'm being realistic. They still have a lot of really young players. Jaden Ivey is going to be phenomenal, but you got to give him time to develop. Just like the conversation we're talking about with rookies in the NFL, NBA is very similar. You can accelerate that timeline, but the Pistons this year are still only going to have, if they have 30 to 35 wins, I'm very happy as a Pistons fan.
I think 30 to 35 wins, that window could potentially put them in the playing game. No, granted, they'll probably be like the 10th or 9th seed, but I don't think a play-in appearance should be out of the realm for Detroit.
I think I'm not going to set my expectations that high yet, because they still, like I said, they have one of the youngest teams in the league,
right?
And that's really, really part of the reality of the situation. So I'm not expecting the Pistons to be a playoff team. They could be a play-in team, but I'm still like 30 is my benchmark, and I'm going to be happy with that, because they still need to develop. Now, the following year, play-in team is minimum. Like play-in is minimum.
So you basically want to give them one more year before you start saying, now we need to play in. Now we can be in the play-in, but instead of the 10th or 9th seed, now we got to be like the 8th or 7th seed, and then like, okay.
That's where my realistic expectations are.
Okay. By the way,
I would not be surprised if Cade Cunningham makes the All-Star team this year.
There went your realism. Vince says, y'all can't not talk about the greatest player of all time and the Lakers, though. I mean, listen, the Lakers suck. I mean, but the greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron Ramon James, he'll be fine. He'll put up some MVP numbers, and we'll move on from that. Man, I guess I got Ray going. Oh, this kid, let's go. But no, look, man, in the East, like you said, I think. Boston's up there. If you want to put Milwaukee in there, sure. I have no problem with that. Maybe Philly, depending on everything. There's one team I have zero expectations for. Let me know if you guys think I'm crazy. The Hawks. I do like the acquisition of DeJounte Murray. I do like it. But that doesn't excite me. Like, I thought it was a nice pick, but all of a sudden everyone was like, oh, yeah, top 6. Like, Bart?
No. There's too many better teams to me.
Way better teams.
Miami's still better than them. Toronto's even
still better than them.
Yeah.
I think they're in the Toronto thing. A goodish team that's really it. A goodish team that could perhaps fall out of the play-on or be in the play-in. Well, they're going to be in the play-in regardless because I don't see them being a top 6 seed in the East.
Yeah,
I think I'm crazy.
I think Atlanta's a play-in. They're in a play-on spot that's 6 to 10 range.
Yeah.
I don't see because I see too many other teams that are better, but they probably will be one of the best play-in teams, depending on who that is. Because you got Chicago's probably going to be in that conversation. And then depending on outside of that, now you're talking about the Knicks, the Hornets, the Wizards, the Pacers, Magic, and Pistons. So in that group of teams, Chicago and Atlanta are, I think, on the higher end of that. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't think Hawks aren't it, but it looks nice on paper.
Yeah,
gotta go out and play.
Burn that paper up because I have no faith in them. By the way, Ben Simmons, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. So inspirational.
So inspirational. What was his shooting percentage? I didn't even look at the stat line.
His shooting percentage? I'll tell you right now. Hold on. If it was bad, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. Hold on.
Did he take a 3-pointer this game?
I do not think he did. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Did he shoot the ball? Did he shoot the ball up at least 15 feet out?
Ray, Ray.
He said, don't do that to me.
Ray, relax, Ray. Okay, right. Why we gotta hate on him?
But yeah,
I ain't gonna hate on nobody. I'm just saying.
Vance did bring up. We were talking about Lakers and LeBron. I think they're a play-in team again at best in the West right now. There's too many. I'm watching their game against the Kings last night in the background, and I had to look at their roster to go, they've literally got 5 different point guards on their roster, and they don't have a true shooting guard. They don't really have a true small forward. They're basically going to run Westbrook, LeBron, Anthony Davis. Hopefully Anthony Davis stays healthy. Like, that's a big problem. If you don't have him, that takes out a whole nother facet. Like, yeah, they got Lonnie Walker, Pat Bev. Who else am I? I'm missing somebody. Oh, Dennis Schroeder's on that team as well. But like, you got a few guys that are all like undersized guards that are not like. How are you going to pass all those minutes around? So they don't have a ton of depth, and that's really what you need in the NBA. Yeah, you got to have your top stars, but when you got Russ and LeBron making almost $100 million on that team, you don't have any money to put elsewhere. You got to get guys on very team-friendly deals, but that's a staple. Yeah, I think they have to. So if I'm the Lakers, I have to move Russell Westbrook somehow. I have to.
No, you're at this point, you're stuck with him. If nobody was biting last year, what's going to make you think? Because think about it. A lot of the expiring contracts, the teams are either A, going to deal with, or B, are already on another team.
Yeah.
The only move possible that could be made, the only move would be for Tobias.
I love Tobias Harris. I do
too, but you think Philly's taking Russ?
Hell no.
So that makes it like de facto. And then Vince said, I'd move AD for real. Here's the thing. I would still hold on to AD in the hopes that he can be healthy, because if you move him now, you're not getting anything. It's not even worth trading him. So I would honestly hold on to him at least to the trade deadline. Hope he stays healthy.
You gotta hope he's healthy.
But
dude, I mean, look at the salary. Look at this thing here. Russell Westbrook at $47 million. LeBron James at $44 million. Anthony Davis at $37 million. Patrick Beverley at $13 million. Then you got Lonnie Walker at $6 million. You got Kendrick Nunn at $5 million. Then you get Damon Jones with $2 million. Then you get Wayne Gabriel at $1 million. And then the lowest person on the team, Max Christie, who makes $1 million and $17,781.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very top heavy as far as salary is concerned. And just I wanted to throw this out here for pride. So last night, Ben Simmons went
3 for 6.
6, 4, and 5. 3 for 6. 0 for 2 in free throws, and he had a plus minus of -10. So
you're saying that like I'm supposed to be shocked that he had a minus of -10 when they put him in, when they were losing. It's a preseason game. Okay. I don't care about the plus minus. I care about how he performed. And my guy, Benjamin P. Simmons, okay, you know what the P for? Pause. Because he's gonna put pause on the league, bro. Stop playing with my man, bro.
You can't count out LeBron. That's why I think that the Lakers are gonna probably be a play-in team.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
I don't know about that. Because and listen, if this was a Miami Heat LeBron James, oh yeah, he carried him. This is LeBron, and I'm a LeBron James fan, so I'm allowed to make jokes at him. This is LeBron James who wakes up, eats tapioca pudding for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay? All right? My man's so old, he accepts his baldness. You don't accept your baldness until you're either old or it's too far back. That's it. The Lakers are just boo-boo. And the problem with the thing is, if the money isn't a problem, like the top-heavy money. Because if you look at the league, 90% of the teams that win are top-heavy. If you have a big three, they're top-heavy because you got to pay all of them. The problem is one of them can't. Well, two of those three can't play. One sucks, and the other one can't be on the floor. That's just that. That's really it. If Russ's money was still on the table, but instead of Russ, you had Damian Lillard, we're having a completely different conversation. Let AD be injured. Go let him be made of glass. Go let him sneeze and be out for 4 years. That's fine. If you replace Russ with Damian Lillard, we got a different conversation. Completely different conversation. But unfortunately, you can't do that. So
because ain't nobody gonna take Westbrook's top heavy salary.
It's that's the problem. Like I said, like you got to make it match. And the only really other guy. Now, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But the only other guy who has money that could potentially match it, right? And would probably to go play for would be the 76ers with Tobias Harris, because they're trying to explore getting rid of Tobias. But now here's the problem. Would the 76ers take Russ? Craig, you just said, ain't no way they're going to do that. So if they're not going to do that at this point, now you're kind of just like, well, I guess we kind of got to go. And then he says, would be the Pistons. Who are they going to give up?
Nope. I don't think there's any way, because they're not giving up any of the guys they just drafted. Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. Those are three guys that the Lakers would want. and there's no way they're getting rid of those three.
Right. So it's like,
or Sadiq Bey is the fourth. You're not getting rid of him either.
I know.
So
and here's the thing: in order for the money to match, you would have to get all probably all four. If we're gonna be honest.
They don't even the Pistons don't even have. They have got a lot of cap space, but they don't even have a guy. Maybe Bojan Bogdanovic is the closest person that makes $40 million. He makes like 20, I think, 20 some.
No one's over 25.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, no one is over 25. So it's like, especially the real young talent, that real nucleus that everybody would want, is all under 15.
Yeah, but so looking at how the Lakers keep their roster the same way, like you're saying, like how they're currently constructed, I'm looking at the teams in the East, and the West, I mean, and I don't see out of the top. I see 8 teams already off the jump. 7 to 8 teams that are already better than the Lakers. So I can see them being a playoff team, a play-in team, which means they're a playoff team, but it's like they're not better than the Suns, the Nuggets, Grizzlies, T-Wolves, Mavericks, Warriors, Clippers.
But you also got to figure in 20 games, 20 to 25 games, maybe Anthony Davis might miss for the season. Because, I mean, technically you got to look at it too about Anthony Davis. He doesn't injure his top part. He injures his legs. And if you look at his legs are not very strong. He needs to start working out them legs and stuff like that to get more physical down below than up top,
Don't skip leg day, bro. That's what he's saying.
And it's crazy. And to your point, they're not better than Golden State, not better than Memphis, not better than the Clippers. They're not better than the Pelicans, not better than Dallas.
Yep.
Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't like the Minnesota Timberwolves at all, but they're definitely going to be better. Okay. They're not better than the Phoenix Suns. They're not better than the Denver Nuggets. So that's 8. And now there's still 2 spots up for grabs in terms of the play-in. I mean, let's be real. The Lakers missed the play-in, right? The Spurs made it.
Well, right? The Spurs lost DeJounte Murray and Lonnie Walker. So I don't know where they're going to get their scoring from. But teams 6 through 10 are going to make the play-in game. So that already puts the Lakers at 9th based on all what we're talking about. And the teams behind them, Portland, they've got Dame Lillard and nobody else really. Mm-hmm. The Kings are the Kings. Utah sold everybody. The Spurs, you don't know what you're getting. Oklahoma City and Houston are still not in a place to contend either. So I think the Lakers are a play-in team almost by default.
They'll find a way.
They'll find a way,
100%. Vance says Luka for MVP? Probably.
I mean...
Nah, I'm not going to be that guy. You know what? Nikola Jokic.
Jokic?
Yeah. If he does the same thing he did with Michael Porter Jr. back and Jamal Murray, and he still does what he did, come on now. Come on.
I made to run the offense through him. He's like a point forward, point center.
Point center, point forward.
They run the offense through him.
Looking for a DDT.
Dog. It's just wild, man, bro. Like, honestly, the reason why we talk about the Lakers is because they have the greatest player of all time in LeBron James. That's it.
For this era.
They're a big
of all time.
Not all times.
They're a big name brand. They'll go out and get players. They're always in a conversation because they're going to go spend money to get guys to put them in a scenario to at least have a run at the playoffs. And Vance is right. Nuggets, they've had that same aura about them that they're scary when they're healthy. But that's the key word. If they're healthy, Damian's on the Spurs train. So they're way better than the Lakers. They have better bench players. Yeah, but if your starters get blown out by the Lakers starters, then your bench is definitely going to play a lot. So
I don't care. I'm still a Hornets fan, no matter where they finish at.
Oh, you're a Hornets fan?
Yeah, I'm a Charlotte Hornets fan.
Didn't we just destroy you guys?
In the preseason, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't count preseason. Get wrecked.
Get wrecked.
You said get wrecked.
Get wrecked.
I don't count any kind of preseason whatsoever.
You don't count preseason? You don't count preseason? No,
Nope.
You don't count preseason.
So when you're watching the preseason, like tonight, I'm gonna watch the Pistons play the Knicks. I'm not gonna be looking for. I'm gonna be watching to see how certain guys play in their spot minutes because they're not playing a ton of minutes.
Wow. Okay, Craig.
That's what the preseason's for.
Wow. Okay, but to slander Benjamin P. Simmons, you looked at his plus minus.
Yes, in the minutes that he played. That's what you look for. You look for that. For Ben Simmons to even get on the floor, I give him credit. But if I'm Ben Simmons, the thing is, like, if you're coming off of not playing for so long, I get you're trying to get back in the game. His stat line looked good on paper for what he played. But if you're Ben Simmons, like you're the type of player that you are, you should get maybe a couple more free throw like attempts. But you gotta prove to guys that you've changed your game and you've upped your skill set. He didn't take any threes. That's the big thing on him is he's gotta develop the 3-point shot.
It's preseason. Watch,
even in preseason.
Watch.
I would love
37% from three. That's what he's gonna shoot this year.
He's
shooting 37
on 3 attempts.
Matter of fact,
he'll shoot 1 for 3 and get 33%. There you go.
But I said 37. 37. I like going with that whole little.
What's the minimum amount that you can shoot and make to get 37%? Because that's what he would shoot then.
Whatever the NBA would give him for him to get 37. I don't care. He's getting 37%. 3-7. He's gonna get that, and when he does, Ray, you too, because I see how and when I've been talking about Ben Simmons, I see the side eye you give it. You're not slick. So when
I ain't trying to be slick.
You two are gonna owe us a written apology. Frankie, stop reminding me.
That's why I tried to throw pride off of his tangent here.
Dog. Like, bro, and then they're out here trying to make it seem like, yeah, we signed Blake Griffin, but okay, cool. It is like
Blake Griffin ain't.
Like, dog, this ain't the same, dude.
Damien said some breaking news. Tomlin made it official. Kenny Pickett's the starter.
That's not breaking news. He gave
it's not breaking news.
Last
not breaking news.
Yesterday when he took out Mishra.
All right, last couple minutes of the show here. Let's talk a little bit of baseball because we've got the playoffs coming up. The Phillies clinched their first postseason berth since 2011, and the Padres clinched their first playoff berth since 2006.
Yeah.
What's the most intriguing matchup leading in the playoffs coming out of this last week of the season for you guys?
For me right now is who's going to win the National League East, the Braves or the Mets? Because right now it's coming down to the very, very last wire. Even though the Braves lost last night because of a certain situation, because they played on Sunday night, they didn't get into Florida until like 3 a.m. because of the hurricane and all that mess. They had a lot of problems getting buses to them, so they didn't get to the hotel until 4 a.m. They fell asleep at 6 a.m. Well, they broke it down. They fell asleep at 6 a.m. They got them up at 9. They had to get to the stadium at least by 2, so they can get the batting practice, all that in. So they only had 4 hours, maybe like 3 hours of sleep at the most when coming in this game, and they were very tired because you can see the lackluster of their enthusiasm on the field last night. But they still had a 2-game lead. Now they got a 1-game lead. If they win tonight, they clinch the division from coming behind for the second year in a row against the Mets. But that's going to be the problem. If they both get swept, if the Mets get swept by the Nationals and the Braves get swept, Braves still wins the National League East by 1 game.
I was about to say, don't they have the tiebreaker?
Yeah, they had the tiebreaker since they won that Sunday night game, 10-9.
So imagine.
So right now, as it stands in the American League, leading into the last week, Houston's the first seed in the AL. New York, the Yankees are the 2 seed. Guardians 3. They're going to play the 6 seed, the Tampa Bay Rays, and then Frankie already mentioned it here. Seattle and the Blue Jays.
That's going to be a bang.
That's going to be a good series.
That's going to be a good. And it's a shame, too. Both teams that I think could potentially make it all the way, I think both these teams have a chance. It's a shame one of them's not going to make it out the wild card because they got to play against each other. That's insane to me. That's insane to me.
That's baseball for you.
Bro,
Yep,
that's
That's that 162 game season they play, man.
Yeah, and it reminds me a little bit of last year when I think it was the Giants and the Dodgers. I think in the wild card, was it? I think it was them.
Yeah, I think so.
The Dodgers weren't in the wild card last year.
No, they weren't in the wild card. They were in the.
It probably was the Padres.
Last year's play.
I don't know who was. I don't remember who was in the playoffs last year. To be honest with you.
Fact check me right.
Well,
I remember last year because like there were two teams. It was both won over 100 games, and it kind of was a shame.
Yeah. See if I can find.
Let's look this up because now I'm curious. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me curious, Pride. Let's see. You had the Dodgers and the Giants in the NLDS.
Yeah.
Giants, Dodgers,
so
NLDS.
Yeah.
God damn! I remember. Yeah, Chris Bryant was crying.
Yep.
It was so. And I found it funny. Like he was crying, and it was like, meanwhile, the whole time he was talking to Colorado. Yeah, I'm ready to sign that contract, boy. Hold on, we lost. You got the money, boys. I'm pulling up right now. Like,
I don't care. But that last year's playoffs, that Solaire's home run out of the Houston's ballpark that landed in front of somebody's door.
Woo!
Across the street, and they literally put a thing of this center. That field was like 200 and some odd in that vicinity, but the ball went 550 feet, landed at somebody's front door.
Woof! Imagine you wake up, you the next day you go get the mail. It ain't there. You look down, you see a baseball. You're like, whoa!
Yeah,
the TV is like, wait a minute, is that my house?
Yep. Vance, we appreciate you tuning in today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
brother.
definitely glad to have you join the show. Definitely check us out. Any of the platforms you see here on the screen: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You can find us all here. And a lot of the great shows like Red Kingdom's coming on right after us here in the morning show. You got Afternoon Blitz is on at 1:00. Easy Money's on at 3:00. Lots of great shows here on All Sports, All Plays Network. But yeah, just real quick before we wrap it up here. In the National League side, the Dodgers right now and the Braves have the first round buys. Cardinals would play the Phillies, and the Mets would have the Padres. A lot of intriguing. I'd watch out for the Cardinals in the NL for sure. They've really just do what the Cardinals do every year. They do what the Cardinals do. What seems like almost every year. But gentlemen, it's been a fun show.
Yes, sir.
I love talking. I love talking some of the stuff that you guys like to, especially getting Pride on the talking about Blake Griffin and talking about Ben Simmons and no, but tomorrow morning we'll be back 10 a.m. or 10 to 12 every Monday through Friday here on All Sports, All Plays Network on all those platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. For Pride and for Ray, I'm Craig. Everybody, and we will see you tomorrow on All Sports, All Plays Network.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All